I'm sure you've heard the news. A shadow falls. The early life of Javed Iqbal. Javed Iqbal. The name itself sends chills down the spines of those familiar with his horrific deeds. Born in 1956 in Lahore, Pakistan, Iqbal's early life seemed ordinary. He was the sixth child of a wealthy businessman, living a life of privilege and comfort. Yet even in these seemingly mundane beginnings, a darkness stirred within him. Little did anyone suspect that this seemingly ordinary boy would grow up to commit unspeakable acts, forever etching his name in the annals of criminal history. His crimes, marked by their chilling brutality and calculated cruelty, shocked a nation and exposed the darkest corners of the human psyche. Even as a child, there were glimpses of the monster he would become. He was known for his short temper and violent outbursts. He was expelled from several schools for fighting and bullying. As he grew older, his behavior became increasingly erratic. His descent into darkness was gradual, a slow poisoning of the soul. But to understand the monster, we must first understand the man. We must delve into the shadows of his past, to those formative years where the seeds of evil were sown. Scars of loss, a mother's death, and a son's descent. At the age of 15, tragedy struck. Javed Iqbal's mother, the one person he seemed to genuinely love, passed away. The loss was devastating, leaving him emotionally crippled. This event, a turning point in his life, marked a significant shift in his demeanor. Once a troubled but relatively unremarkable youth, he retreated further into himself, consumed by grief and resentment. His academic performance plummeted. He became increasingly isolated, withdrawing from friends and family. His father, a stern and distant figure, offered little solace. The gulf between father and son widened, leaving Javed feeling abandoned and alone. It was during this period of intense vulnerability that the darkness within him began to fester. Some psychologists believe that this early trauma, the loss of his mother coupled with the lack of emotional support, played a crucial role in shaping his psyche. They argue that it warped his sense of empathy, leaving him unable to connect with others on a meaningful level. Instead, he sought solace in darker impulses, a dangerous path that would lead him down a road of no return. Unveiling the monster, the pattern of prey. The year was 1998. The city of Lahore was gripped by fear. Young boys, mostly street children and runaways, were disappearing with alarming regularity. Their families, desperate and heartbroken, searched frantically, clinging to fading hopes of their safe return. Javed Iqbal, now in his early 40s, had established himself as a businessman. He owned a steel mill, a symbol of normalcy that masked the depravity lurking beneath the surface. Unbeknownst to all, he was leading a double life, a predator hiding in plain sight. His victims, all boys under the age of 16, came from impoverished backgrounds. They were easy prey, lured by the promise of food, shelter, and even employment at his factory. Iqbal, a master manipulator, used their desperation against them, trapping them in his web of horrors. The disappearances followed a chilling pattern. A boy would vanish, last seen in the vicinity of Iqbal's factory or his residence. Days, sometimes weeks would pass, and then another boy would disappear, fueling the growing panic in the city. Section 4. A Trail of Terror, the modus operandi of a killer. Javed Iqbal's crimes were not merely acts of murder. They were meticulously planned, cold-blooded executions fueled by a perverse and sadistic pleasure. He took pride in his methods, documenting his crimes in gruesome detail in a diary that would later send shockwaves through the nation. He would drug his victims, rendering them helpless and disoriented. Then he would strangle them, taking their lives with his bare hands. But his cruelty didn't end there. He would then dismember their bodies, dissolving their remains in acid. The evidence, carefully disposed of, was meant to ensure that his crimes remained hidden, his victims nothing more than fading memories. He meticulously cleaned his home, removing any trace of his heinous acts. He believed he was invincible, a master manipulator who could outsmart the authorities. His diary, a chilling testament to his depravity, detailed not only his crimes but also his twisted justifications. He saw himself as an avenger, punishing the parents of his victims for their poverty and neglect. His words, a chilling mix of self-pity and grandiose delusions, offered a glimpse into the mind of a monster. Section 5. The walls close in, a city gripped by fear, a police force on high alert. As the disappearances continued, the police faced mounting pressure. The city of Lahore was on edge. Parents were afraid to let their children out of their sight. The media, fueled by the public outcry, demanded answers. The police, initially dismissive of the cases, were now under intense scrutiny. A special task force was formed, dedicated to finding the missing boys and bringing their abductor to justice. They followed every lead, however tenuous, desperate for a breakthrough. They interviewed countless people, combed through missing person reports, and scoured the areas where the boys were last seen. The investigation was arduous, hampered by dead ends and false leads. The city held its breath, caught in the suffocating grip of fear and uncertainty. Javed Iqbal, meanwhile, continued his reign of terror, confident in his ability to evade capture. He believed he was smarter than the police, that he could continue his gruesome spree undetected. But even the most cunning predator can make mistakes, and Javed Iqbal's arrogance, his inflated sense of self-preservation, would prove to be his undoing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories.